So welcome to the Content Management System, or CMS, of our new website. This video is going to familiarise you with how the CMS works, and at the end I'll give you a short practical exercise so you can put what you've learned into action. Firstly, ignore the URL at the top of the page. That's going to change a bit once the new website actually goes live. But this is basically the back end of the site as it will exist. It's where everything that users who visit the front end of the site see can be controlled. And unlike our old system, this is based now on a popular and widely used platform called Umbraco, which means it should be more resilient, it should be more user-friendly, and it's going to be more regularly updated as well. You've each been given a user account, which will have generated an email to your society email address. And from that email, you can set the password and go to the CMS and log in like so. Now, you may find that your version of the homepage looks subtly different to mine, and that's because I've got administrative access, so I can see a handful of things that other users might not be able to. But the basic structure will be the same. You've got a series of tabs across the top here and some buttons over here on the right-hand side. The main tabs are content, from which you can edit all the pages on the front end of the site, and media, in which you can edit any of the photos or videos or images or documents that we've embedded in different places around the site. Over here on the right hand side, where I've got my initials, I can go and change my password or edit things about my profile, and I can log out, which is important when you've come to the end of doing something, just to close down the access. You've got a help menu, and you've got a really powerful little search bar in which I can search through everything that's on the site for example, a person's name. It will find me James's bio and articles about James and a photo of James and so on. Or I could search for something to do with a particular client. Hope I spelled it right. And it'll find me everything that's on the site about that client. We're going to go back to the content menu for the time being, though, because that's really the most important thing. And you'll see that there's a little home button here at the top with an expandable button next to it. Why won't it let me expand this? It's really weird. There we go. So click on the little arrow and it expands down everything that's underneath it, which is basically the entire contents of the website. So you'll find the site laid out in the same order that you encounter everything on the front end of the site itself. So here's the home page at the top. It says ethical executive search and all the content that's there. Next you encounter our diversity page. And if I expand that, you'll find the next level down page under diversity, which is then our expertise pages. And I expand that, and you can find the expertise page for each different practice, and then services and about us, and so on and so on. And right down here at the bottom, you actually have some pages which don't appear in the main menu, but are nevertheless essential for the running of the site, like register your CV, our cookie policy, our privacy statement, and even over here, some of the thank you messages that appear when people complete certain forms on the site. So this is all the content. For most colleagues, the only two bits of content that you will ever need to concern yourself with, you will ever need to think about editing, are our expertise pages up here and our colleague bios, which appear in our global team here. Heads of practice can update their expertise pages or ask someone to do it on their behalf, provided that they run any text or structural changes past Tanya beforehand, just to make sure that we keep things broadly consistent. And any colleague in the business can update their own colleague bio page, again, provided they run any text changes past Sarika, so that she can make sure that everything just stays tonally consistent. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the expertise page, and we're going to look at a colleague bio page, just so you can see how that works. Firstly, an expertise page. So we'll go to Chief Executive Appointments and have a play around with that. And I'll move myself up here so I'm not in the way. When you click on a page, you'll see that you have the header at the top and then a number of tabs along here which contain all the elements that the website needs in order to operate the page. And almost every page on the site is constructed in that way. Different tabs for different types of information. The most important tab is almost always content, which we're on straight away here. So that makes it straightforward. And on the content tab, you're able to see that the page is really constructed from a series of components which we can add to, we can delete from, we can tweak, and we can reorder in any way we see fit. So the components we have here are a hero header, which if I click on it, contains the title Chief Executive Appointments and some text. Then we've got a ticker of past clients that we've done CEO appointments for with a whole bunch of logos. It's a sort of moving logo carousel. Then we've got two columns with some text on the left-hand side and a picture on the right-hand side. Then we've got a whole host of cards of recent chief executive appointments, news articles, that again appear in a sort of carousel. Then we've got the ability to contact the team and different team members listed. And then we've got a sort of testimonial quote at the end. So that's the order in which it appears on the front page, on the front end of the site. Now, making changes to it is pretty simple. I can go in here, and if I wanted to say chief executives instead of CEO here, I can amend the text like that and click confirm. If I want to change the order, again, it's relatively simple. Let's say I wanted that ticker of clients to appear lower down. I can just drag it and pull it right the way to the bottom and let go there. And now my ticker of clients, that little carousel of logos, is going to appear right at the end. If I wanted the team to appear further up, I could just click that and drag that slightly further up as well. I can go into any element and I can delete people. I could remove myself from here, and I could add someone else's details, browse to their photo and populate that as I need to. I can add additional components as well if I was so minded, provided I got approval from Tanya to do that. So I might want to add a second quote, for example, at the end. I could just stick in an extra quote component, and if I fill in the text and browse the images and add the captions and things so that it mirrors what I've got in the existing quote component here, then on the front end we'll have one quote and then another quote. And this add components option allows us to pick from any of a number of pre-created components. So I could add in the statistics component, for example, that big yellow banner with a bunch of statistics that counts up from 0 dynamically. It appears on our homepage, it appears on our diversity page. We could, in due course, have a statistics section on each of our expertise pages that says the diversity statistics for that particular team, for example. And if you want to get rid of any section, you can just click on the little bin icon next to it to remove it. If you want to copy and duplicate a section, you can click on the little copy icon. So this is how you play around with the content on the front end. The primary bit that you might want to edit on the expertise page, though, is a bit less radical, and it's the recent appointments section. So this is the bit I'd encourage you to take a close look at. You click on recent appointments and you'll find a list that I've pre-populated of the appointments that I think people might want to see on the front end of the website in the order that I think they might want to see them. Now you can remove items from this by just clicking on remove next to one of them. You can reorder it very easily by just dragging and dropping them around. And you can add to the list by scrolling to the bottom and clicking Add. If we click on Add, it allows us to search through everything on the website to find whatever article we want to add. So I might search for Chief Executive, and it will find me any articles that have the word Chief Executive in their header. And I might decide I want to add the Army Families Federation CEO search to the end of this. So I'll click Submit, and sure enough, it comes onto the end of the list. So curating what visitors to your expertise page are going to see is going to be an important responsibility for us. We've got to keep that regularly up to date. And this is the way you do it. Just you can remove old stuff, you can add new stuff, you can reorder it as you see fit. The things that appear at the top will appear first in the list. The things that appear at the bottom will appear last in the list, and will take quite a bit of scrolling to the right in order for people to see them. I'm going to discard these changes. And obviously, if I wanted to save any of the changes I've made, I would click Save and Publish at this point to push them out onto the front end of the website. If I try and go anywhere else without doing that, it will prompt me to go back and make sure I've saved and published. But in this instance, I don't want to, so I'm just going to say discard changes. Again, heads of practice can make or green light changes to this part of the site, the part that relates to their practice. So you can add and delete logos from the client ticker. You can add and delete appointments from the recent appointments. You can move them around. You can curate that as you see fit. And you can also update the text, but please just get Tanya's approval for any text changes or any other broader changes, because we have to keep these looking reasonably consistent across all the different practices. Now let's look at a colleague bio. So I'm going to scroll down to here. And our global team, although on the front end of the site, it sits underneath the About Us menu, on the back end of the site, it sits slightly separately because it's a slightly different thing. And you'll see that there's no option to expand our global team and see all of our names listed underneath it. Instead, when you click on it, you see all of our names listed here. And that's just because this section of the site is much more heavily templated. We need all of these bios to look pretty much identical. So you access them in this slightly different way. I'm going to find the bio for Uzma, and I'm going to play around with that. So if I find Uzma's card and click on the little hyperlink bit, it will take me to the tabbed page setup for Uzma's bio page on the website. So again, similar thing, you've got tabs along the top here. The first tab it takes us to in this instance is role, where we're able to add tags against Uzma that will determine whether she shows up when users on the front end filter the whole team list by expertise or by location. So for example, they want to find just colleagues who work in London. Does Uzma show up within that menu? She will, as long as we've added the London office tag to her here. She'll show up in the not-for-profit as well, but we might also want to add another expertise tag like, say, development and fundraising. On the next card, on the next tab, we have the content menu, and this is where the bulk of what appears on the front end can be controlled. And you've got a photo at the top, you've then got job title, the actual bio text itself, psychometric profiles, contact details, LinkedIn, pronouns, and then finally at the bottom here, again, the ability to add components. And we've only added one component for each person's bio, which is a list of articles related to that person. We could, over time, add additional components if we wanted to. There's no reason we couldn't have a client logo ticker here, or a quote testimonial thing again, or the diversity stats again. They're all just components. We can slot them in wherever we want to. But for now, we've got all of that standard content above, and then a list of articles at the end. So I'm going to show you how to tweak the text first. We just scroll up to bio, and we can just edit it using your keyboard as you normally would. Move it around as we see fit. You can also paste in text if you have some on your clipboard. just make sure that you're not pasting it in with lots of old formatting. So either paste the text into a notepad document first to strip out any fonts or weird formatting that's embedded within it, or use the keyboard shortcut Control, Shift, and V, which allows you to paste. In fact, I haven't got Uzma's bio on my clipboard, but allows you to paste without any formatting. So I'm going to grab it from a notepad document. I'm going to go and paste it in at the bottom. I've got a duplicated sentence there. Great. There you are. That's how you edit the actual text of the bio. The second thing I want to show you is how to curate the list of articles that appear under your bio. And this is the practical exercise I would like everyone to complete, please, after watching the video. So go to the CMS, log in, go to our global team, find your page, have a look at your bio, and then curate your list of articles. Because for every person, I have under this added at least 1 or 2 articles, but I did this at speed and very roughly, and so you may not want some of those articles on there. You may want other articles. You may want the order to be different. So it's up to each of us to tweak this a bit. So I've gone in here to articles related to Uzma. There's 3 that are appearing at the moment. Uzma might also want an article about the kids trustees, so I'm going to search for that. Okay, it's searching under our global team at the moment. So actually, I'm going to go back and make sure it searches through the whole website. I'm going to try again. Kids trustees. Kids charity appoints new trustees. That's the news article. It appears in Insights, appointment. Great. Tick it and then click submit, and it'll just add that to the bottom of the list. So it's now 4th of 4 articles. I might want to move that around. Maybe I want it to go chief exec board, chief exec board. I might add another article. Again, it's searching under our global team, so I just need to go back and make sure it searches through the whole site. Let's say I add an article about Mandarin Oriental on here. Again, I can move things around by just dragging and dropping. And if I want to remove anything, I just click remove next to it. So that's how I curate the list of articles. And it's something we just need to get into the habit of doing every few months, thinking, right, is my bio up to date? Are my greatest hits appearing at the bottom there? And just spend a few minutes making sure that, that's been curated. And once you're happy, you click Save and Publish, which I will do this time, just to push those changes out to the front end of the site. So that's it. Expertise pages and colleague bio pages. Those are the primary things you're going to want to look at under the Contents tab. We'll come on to jobs and news articles in subsequent videos. Thanks for watching.